My name is Arif Wig, and today the title of my speech is The Power of Doubt, Why Questioning is the First Step to Wisdom. I know that I know nothing. These words were first said by Socrates more than 2 millennia ago, but his words resonate even today. Essentially, he's admitting what he doesn't know. He's admitting doubt, and in doing so, he's recognizing something that very few of us will ever really learn. He's recognizing what he doesn't know, and as a result, he's opening himself up to learn more. Now, his words might sound a bit crazy. Indeed, if we were to say it to our teachers or our bosses, they would probably think we've gone a bit mad, to be frank. But in reality, we're doing the sensible thing. We're admitting doubt. And in a digital age like ours today, where we know everything, whether it's when our Uber Eats order will come or when our Amazon package is going to come, is there an element that there should be something we don't know so that we can learn? And that's why I want to take an example from my own life. I have 2 friends who share the same birthday. One of them knew what he was getting as a birthday gift, and the other didn't. And the friend who didn't know what he was getting actually enjoyed his gift better. Why was that? Simply because the element of surprise is something that can create joy. If we don't know something, there is that joy that we get from learning something new or finding something new. And then, of course, where would we be without doubt in science? Galileo and Copernicus, they doubted the geocentric model, and they were right. They were right to doubt that the Earth orbited the Sun and the Sun didn't orbit the Earth. But they were punished, hounded. Copernicus died believing no one would ever believe him. But he was right, and that's why sometimes doubt is a good thing. It helps us know, and it can influence society, because that's how all scientific progresses are made, by admitting doubt. Now, of course, this is Richard Feynman, a very famous physicist, who once said, I would rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned. Again, reminding us of the power of questioning. And I'm sorry to older adults here, but children, especially children to the age of 5, are much better at learning than adults. Why is that? Because children around the age of 5 ask why, the most basic of the questioning words, 70 to 80% of the time. And that helps them because it helps them learn. Whereas adults don't, because as we grow, we have less time for the kind of deep thinking that we often experience in our childhood years. And then there's the danger of blind acceptance. The Holocaust, the slave trade, the war crimes committed by almost any empire, whether it be the Mughals or even indeed sometimes the British or indeed the Soviet Union. There is that unsaid question that maybe if more of us questioned what they were doing, maybe such atrocities wouldn't have happened. Maybe we wouldn't have lost so much human life. And that's why questioning has an even deeper meaning. Because if we don't question, we'll never be able to decipher what's right and what's wrong. Indeed, events like this were not right, but not enough of people questioned, and that's why they were allowed to be carried out. And then there's everyday learning through doubt. Why do we ask questions? Why do our parents go to parent-teacher meetings? Why do we do practice questions? Because in questioning what we know, we're also extending the limits of our knowledge. Because by questioning what we don't know, we're also questioning how do we know what we don't know. And so by doing that, we're actually learning more. And then doubt is also a tool for growth. As Confucius once said, the man who asks questions is a fool for a minute, but the man who doesn't is a fool for life. Now, those words obviously have a surface level meaning. If you don't ask questions, then you're kind of a fool. But in a deeper way, if we don't ask questions, we'll never learn anything new. And that's the entire point of asking questions. Then we already have doubt and belief in our society in other ways, for example, through religion. Even atheists doubt the existence of God. Christians may doubt the existence of a Hindu or Muslim God, and vice versa. Indeed, religion is founded on doubt by doubt, because if we follow one religion, we're automatically doubting the existence of the gods of other religions to a certain extent. Another personal story, just reminding us why doubt sometimes is integral to our learning. So, a few years ago, my entire class had to do an assignment where we had to produce a timeline of the Roman emperors. Now, the teacher didn't speak extremely clearly, and some people thought that it was an assignment on the Roman Empire. But those of us, me and a couple of my friends who doubted, asked the teacher, and we ended up doing the right thing. So sometimes, even though doubt can make us look awkward and it makes us look like we weren't listening, it's integral to our learning. And then these are just some quotes. I'm not going to read all of them. But the one that really strikes out is by Descartes. Doubt is the origin of wisdom. That resonates deeply. Doubt is the origin of wisdom. Without doubt, there is no wisdom. And just something I'd like to end with. The next time you're questioning yourself, just ask, what if I'm wrong? That provokes you to deepen your understanding. It helps you because it makes you uncertain. And by making yourself uncertain, you open yourself up to learn new things. And finally, doubting helps you be your best you. Because how can we be the best of ourselves if we don't know what we think we know? You might think that you know something, but if someone asks you to describe it, you might end up stuttering because you don't actually know. That's why doubt and uncertainty are important, because they are the words that, when we put them into action, deepen our foundations. Thank you for listening.